I'm Jatin with the firm ground from Verito. Let me set a scene. It's late March, deadline is coming, your team has been working long days for 2 months straight. Everyone's tired. A partner opens an email that looks like it's from IRS, it's about a client, there's a link, and on any other day, the partner could have caught it. But it's not any other day, it's late March, so the wrong person clicks. That's the scenario I want you to hold in your head for the next 12 minutes. Because everything we're about to cover exists for exactly this moment. Today, we get into the 3 attack patterns that surge against accounting firms during tax season, what they look like, why they work, and one specific defense for each. And at the end, I'm gonna ask you to do something you don't normally see me ask. So stick around. Let's start with why this even happens. Because if you've been in accounting for more than a few seasons, you already know something feels different from January through April, and the reason is math. Attackers know exactly when your team's guard is down. Your inbox volume is triple what it is in September, and client data movement is at its yearly peak, and nobody has time to double check anything. Which brings me back to a number from episode 2. CyberHaven's telemetry showed the US workforce hitting roughly 8,000 client data paste events per hour into AI tools. 8,000 per hour. That was the year-round baseline. Nobody has good numbers on how much that spikes during the busy season. But I'll say this, if your entire team is under deadline pressure, moving data faster than you normally would, that number is not going to down. Verizon's 2025 Data Breach Investigations report, the one we cited in episode 8, found that 60% of breaches involved a human element. 60%. Somebody clicked, somebody typed, somebody trusted the wrong thing. Now put a human under filing season pressure, and you've got the conditions attackers spend all year waiting for. 3 attack patterns, all active right now, all engineered for exactly this moment. Number 1, IRS impersonation phishing. Number 2, double extortion ransomware. Number 3, business email compromise or BEC. We're gonna walk through each one. Let's start with the one your team is most likely to see this week. IRS impersonation phishing is exactly what it sounds like. Attackers send an email designed to look like it's from IRS. Sometimes it's a fake CP2000 notice claiming a mismatch on a client's return. Sometimes it's a fake refund. Sometimes it's an identity verification required message with just a link to a page that harvests credentials. Here's why this attack pattern spikes during busy season. Your team is already expecting IRS communication. A notice about a client is absolutely normal. A refund update? Normal. So the mental filter that will flag a weird email in October just doesn't fire the same way in March. And this isn't a new problem. The IRS publishes something called the Dirty Dozen every year. It's their list of top tax scams. Impersonation phishing has been on that list every year they've published it. That's not because the IRS hasn't fixed it. It's because attackers keep coming back to it. Here's the single most important thing I can tell you about IRS impersonation, and I want your entire team to hear this. The IRS does not initiate contact by email or text message or social media. If a message shows up that looks like the IRS and there's no matching paper letter on file, it's not real. Doesn't matter how legitimate the logo looks, doesn't matter how urgent the tone is, if you weren't expecting paper first, it's a phishing attempt. Here's the defense. 1 rule, verification callback. Before anyone in your firm acts on an unexpected IRS communication, they call the client using a number the firm already has on file and confirm whether the client got a paper letter matching what the email claims. If there is no letter, the email is fake. Delete it, report it, move on. Attack 2 is the one that's evolved the most in the last few years. Ransomware. You already know ransomware. Attackers get into your systems, they encrypt your files, they demand a ransom in exchange for the decryption key, classic setup. And the defense used to be straightforward. Good backups. If you had a clean copy of your data, you didn't have to pay. That's changed, and it's changed specifically in a way that affects accounting firms. Modern ransomware crews run what's called double extortion. Before they encrypt anything, they exfiltrate the data, which means they've already got a clean copy. Then they encrypt your production files. And then the ransom note has 2 demands: pay to decrypt and pay again or we'll leak the data. Now think about what data a ransomware crew grabs when they're inside an accounting firm. Social security numbers, bank account details, K1 partnership data, retirement account balances, compensation figures. That's what they're threatening to leak. and your backup don't save you from that. Remember the eSudo case from episode 6? Two office CPU firm, both sites hit, 300,000 demand per site. What made that story hit was that the backups were on the same network as production. So restore wasn't an option. Double extortion adds another layer. Even if the backups had been perfect, the data was already out the door. Timings matter here. Ransomware crews specifically target during peak season because downtime during your busiest week means the ransom starts to look reasonable. And they know it. The defense? Two things. First, immutable offsite backups. Element 4 of the Security 6. We covered this in episode 6, so if your backup can be encrypted or deleted, it's not really a backup. Second, an incident response plan. Element 7 of your WIS from episode 5. Because when a ransomware note lands in your inbox at 11 p.m., you do not want to be figuring out who to call for the first time. 2 down, 1 to go. And honestly, this last one is the attack pattern that's been quietly costing accounting firms the most money. Attack 3 doesn't get the headlines that ransomware does. But if you look at the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, IC3, every year they publish an Internet Crime Report. And every year, business email compromise sits in the top loss categories, consistently. It's not glamorous, but it's where a lot of money actually goes. Here's how BEC works. An attacker impersonates someone the target trusts, a partner, a senior staff member, a client. Sometimes they compromise an actual inbox, but sometimes they spoof a domain that's one letter off from a real one. The email itself looks completely normal. The ask is always the same. Money needs to move quickly, quietly, and there's usually a reason not to double check. Refund redirection, a client emails you saying they've been changed banks. Please update the direct deposit info on their return. You update it, the refund goes to the attacker. Or a wire transfer redirection. A partner emails the bookkeeper, there's a payment that needs to go out today. Different account than usual, urgent. Bookkeeper wires the money, gone. W-2 fraud. Somebody from HR or from a client asks for W-2 copies for a specific list of employees. Once these are out, they used to file fake returns and steal refunds. Every one of those runs faster during tax season because everybody's already moving fast. The wait, let me double check instinct gets overridden by we have 3 more returns to finish today instinct. So the defense, 2 rules, both cultural more than technical. First, dual approval on any money movement. No single person can send a wire or update bank info alone. You humans always. Second, out-of-band verification. If anything financial comes in by email, you verify it through a different channel. A phone call to a number you already had on file, but not a number on the email, a number you already had. Quick Verito note. VeriGuard is our managed IT service. 2 things it does that map directly to the 3 attacks we just covered. Endpoint detection and response, where a ransomware tries to attack encrypting files, the endpoint agent catches the pattern and stops it before it spreads. It turns a firm ending event into an incident response event, and that's a very different day. Second is email filtering. Phishing and BEC attempts get flagged or quarantined before they reach the inbox, which reduces the number of chances your team has to make the wrong decision at the wrong moment. So if you're not a VeriGuard firm and you want a hand looking at your setup for tax season, reach out. Even without switching anything, we can walk you through what you already have. 3 attacks, 3 defenses. Here's the match pair. Against IRS impersonation, send your team 1 message this week. The IRS does not initiate contact by email, text, or social media. If a message shows up, there's no paper letter to match. Treat it as phishing. Verify with the client using a number we already have on file. That's it. 1 message, whole team. Against double extortion ransomware, 2 questions to answer today. Are your backups immutable, meaning nothing can encrypt or delete them once they're written? And do you have a written incident response plan you could actually run at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday? If either answer is no, there's a gap. Fix that one first. Against business email compromise, 2 rules on paper by the end of the week. Dual approval on every money movement and out-of-the-band verification for any financial change request that comes in by email. Both of those close the door on most expensive attack in this episode. Remember the scenario I opened up with? Late March, entire team, wrong person clicks. Now imagine that same team running these 3 defenses. Someone catches the fake IRS notice because they know how to verify with the client. The ransomware attempt hits the endpoint agent and stops. The urgent wire request from the partner gets a callback to the partner's known number. Different scenario, same team, same march. Here's the ask I mentioned at the top. Forward this episode to your entire team, every preparer, the bookkeeper, the admin, the seasonal person who's only here through April, everybody with an inbox at your firm. Because the 3 attacks we just covered don't care whose desk they land on, and the defenses only work if the person who catches the phishing email is the same person who has permission to slow down and verify. That has to be everybody. If we save one firm from one wire transfer this filing season by doing this, the 12 minutes was worth it. Quick question for Thursday. How many security settings are already built into your tax software that you've never turned on? Not new tools, not new add-ons, settings you've already paying for. Drake, Lacert, Pro Series, QuickBooks, Microsoft 365, Google Workspace. We're going through the ones that matter. Thursday. I'm Jatin. This is the Firm Ground from Verito. Stay safe and stay blessed.